In just 11 days, my Boy Scout troop and I traveled 110 miles across the Rocky Mountains. In my 7 years of being a Boy Scout, this is easily my most favorite and most enjoyed campout that I've ever been on, but also the most difficult one. And there are 3 lessons that I learned that hopefully can help you in your life. The first being that if everyone scratches each other's back, no one has an itch. The second, be thorough, if for no reason other than to help yourself. And finally, an ounce of prevention is much better than a pound of cure. Now, what do I mean by if everyone scratches each other's back, no one has an itch? I mean that if the whole group works together to help each other solve each other's issues, it gets done so much quicker and much more effectively than if not. For example, this was ingrained within my troop, just how we worked specifically on this trek. Because on this trek, you had to carry all of your items with you. You had to carry everything from your own tent to your own toiletries. But we divvied up specific troop-wide items so that specific groups would carry everything for our troop. For example, some people would carry the troop's food for that day. Other people would carry the tarps, or the ropes, or specialized items, etc., etc. But the reason why we did this is because it was much easier to divide among certain people than have it just spread out amongst everyone. Because now we know I need to go to him to get this item. I need to go to them to get that item. We were all working in tandem instead of just carrying our own load, and it made everything much, much easier. Speaking of making things much easier, you have to be willing to carry someone else's burdens. For example, I see my tent mate, okay? I see that he's struggling, he's aching, he's sore for some reason. On this specific hill, I have to be willing to take extra weight off of him because I know that in the same exact instance, he would be doing the exact same thing for me. So you have to help each other. You have to be selfless during this by helping one another during this trek, but you also have to help yourself. And there are very, very few ways to help yourself than my second point. Be thorough. Be meticulous while you do something and look over it a second time after you're done. There's no better example, no more high stakes example of how we had to be thorough than each and every night when we had to bury our toiletries and hang all of our food from a tree. Naturally, I'm guessing that you're asking why we would have to do that. Because of the bears. Bears would potentially come and sniff around our camp while we're sleeping because they would smell something that we hadn't either buried or hung. And I'm talking about anything. We would have to bury a toothbrush that had toothpaste on it an hour or 2 ago to make sure that the bear did not come. Because obviously it's much better to just bury a toothbrush than to deal with the bear. Which transitions perfectly into my third point. An ounce of prevention is much better than a pound of cure. And there is no better example of how I paid for not paying attention to this than on day 4, or should I say night 4. We're going up this hill, this seemingly never-ending hill, and it begins to rain. This isn't a total shock to us because there was a chance of rain, but it was only supposed to last 30 minutes, and it was a light drizzle, or at least that's what the weatherman told us. So I only put on my rain jacket over my clothes. I do not put my rain pants over my normal pants. And as usual, the weatherman lied. So it started raining and raining and raining. And by the end of the night, my pants were totally soaked through. I was chilled to the bone. I was freezing. And I could have just dealt with all of this by wearing my rain pants. In summation, if everyone scratches each other's back, no one has an itch. Be thorough for yourself. And an ounce of prevention is much better than a pound of cure. These are the 3 lessons that I learned from my Boy Scout trek that I hope can make your life just a bit easier.